Hello everyone and welcome back to Planet Coaster. So I have decided to try and make this an actual series for once. I'll probably give up on it after a few episodes because my YouTube channel is bound to die out anyway. But for the time being, I will record at least a few episodes of this because I've been playing this game regardless, so I might as well record it, honestly. So yeah, last time we left off with this building, basically. We're trying to build a station for the monorail in the style of this building up here. But I've given it some thought. I've looked at it a few times after I've built it, and this is like the basic outline, but I've come to the realization that I don't quite like it. I have something else in mind, to be honest. So I'm going to try and fix that in this episode. So this episode will be a bit different than before. I will have a time-lapse and I will voice over that time-lapse so that the episode won't just be one boring time-lapse without any commentary. So let's get into it, shall we? So the first thing I had to do was get rid of most of the building that I had previously built. As you can see here, I'm removing the roofing and most of the walls of the basic building that I had built. I don't know why, but as I looked at the building, it wasn't really vibing with me. There was this part which is like that raised flat roof where I wanted people to actually be able to sit and have some shops up there and stuff. So that's what I'm trying to fix right now. I had some real big issues with getting the path to do what I want without the curbs and stuff like that. So you can see I'm removing the roof so that I can see it better. But yeah, I had some real struggles with the last part of the curb right there. I had to lower the roof back in place, and I was really fed up with that part of the curb. Eventually I did get rid of it, as you can see here, so that's now nice and flat. I started working on the walls up there because, of course, now that the shape of the roof has changed, the walls need to change as well. Extending the roof further. And at some point I also decided that I wanted part of the building to come forward to kind of break up the sort of box shape that it has right now. So first of all, I'm building walls up there in which the buildings or the shops will be housed. And that's also the shape that I'll be having coming forwards, as you can see here, just extending it basically. And that's where the main entrance will be for the train station, or monorail station rather. This is also where like most of the focus for the building will be on, because this is the face of the building that you'll see as soon as you walk into this area, with a huge slanted roof over top of it. So I'm building the inside right now. Also, I'm going back and forth between this build and the building I've built before, the station for the Alpine Racer, because I'm really happy with the way that building turned out. So I'm taking inspiration from that, trying to make it fit the theming. And at one point I realized that the flat roof that I put in looked better if it was a bit lower, so that you would have like vertical walls on the side of it. So you can see me lowering that roof right now and going in to fix the walls, as you can see, which that makes more sense really for a balcony to have. Like if it's just a slanted roof all the way to the side of the balcony, you would have no use for that sort of slanted area you would end up with. Here I am fixing the other side of the building, just really trying to break up the box shape that it had before. trying to open it up a bit more because it looked very closed off to me. And train stations generally, especially in like small alpine areas, are, as far as I'm concerned, usually just more open, out in the open, fresh air, instead of like fully covered buildings. So I tried to keep this one a bit more open than it was before, and it just made it look a lot more different than the other side, because the building before was just basically, it was symmetrical, and I don't like that. I don't want this building to be symmetrical. It just looked out of place. So on the other side, I started working on the the area where people will be able to buy food and stuff like that. I did realize at one point that the stairs, I wanted to have that incorporated into the building, so fully walled up and stuff like that. So you can see me doing that now, and at that point I realized that the upper part of it had to be changed as well. So you'll see me heading into that a bit later on. Right here I'm just trying to fix the walls for the actual monorail. I did forget about a lot of stuff, so the building is nowhere near finished even after this episode. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be finished, but at least in my opinion it looks a lot better already. So yeah, just continuing working on it really. So yeah, here I realized that the walls up here needed to be changed, so I did that. Also remind me next time that I need to turn off Steam Overlay, because I've been getting so many Steam notifications. On the back side of the building, I realized that with the slanted roof overhanging, I needed to change the walls up here to, well, hide a bit of the building, because it was clipping and it didn't look right. Overhanging all of the roofing here, and then it was basically on to adding some detail, because I really wanted to see what this face of the building would look like if it had the theming I actually created for the other part of the area. So I basically just started some basic theming, so that you would get more of a feel of what it would actually look like. So I'm placing some of the white fences that I've used before, and I really wanted to get this face of the building going, see what it would look like. So yeah. This is a weird episode for me, but I'm doing my best. So I got around to placing. Well, I add this sort of wood trimming on the edges of the buildings in this area, because in my opinion, it adds a lot more depth to it, and it looks a bit more realistic. So I went around the building adding all of these wooden supports. Placing them everywhere where it seemed fit, and then I added some more supports on the face of the building for the flat roofs first, so basically just covering up those edges as well, using that down there, and then adding a few more supports on the edges, and then some vertical supports as well later on. First some windows, and then some vertical supports for the actual balcony, which turned out quite alright. It's not like straight through the pathing, so I was quite okay with that. Some more for the upper flat roof, and then I really felt like it could do with a clock, so I spent some time searching for the clocks in the scenery tab. The first one was way too big. The second one was alright, so I tried fitting it in. The corners are actually quite annoying, and I didn't like that it was like flat on the face of the building, so I got rid of that, and basically that's the last thing I did. It's not finished yet, but it's certainly getting there. I think it looks a lot better already, especially this part where I've added some decoration in already. There's a lot more variation to it, a lot more depth to it. I am planning on building an actual tunnel here, and of course I'm planning on finishing up this entire build. It's gotten quite a lot bigger than I had anticipated, but I think it's starting to look quite good, especially when you approach from this side down here. It's starting to look pretty good. So I'll leave this episode here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.